So the first question we have is, what advice do you have for a girl who doesn't approve of her boyfriend, or of her friend's boyfriend? For example, she feels like he's not a godly man, or there's, some reason she thinks he's not a good match, or whatever.
Well, like you kind of said that, particularly if she feels that he's not a godly man in whatever way, and it's important, and we all probably know this, but to make definite distinctions between, I don't like his personality in this way versus there's a character defect or some kind of spiritual defect. So my family did go through a situation with one of my sisters, and she was living in Kentucky at the time, and we also had 2 other siblings out there, but we weren't quite sure about this, and we could see things going a bad direction, and it was really hard, and we prayed a lot because she didn't want to listen to particularly what my parents had to say, and I think it's important to put yourself in the other person's shoes. What kind of things do you not want to hear when you know you're not doing the right thing? Just to continue to love them through it. Also, like, what type of relationship you have? What level is your friendship on? Are they a sibling? Are they a co-worker? Is it more of an acquaintance, or are you deep, intimate friends? And so that's also going to guide a little bit about how you approach things. But pray, and it's like everybody else said, Laura and Serena, that your focus needs to be on the Lord through all of this, and that makes a world of difference. And for my sister, we were continually praying that God would use this and grow her, and that she would be a stronger person through the end. And that made a big difference for us too, as we tried not to freak out about this. But when you pray for wisdom, for their character, for godly character, and speaking truth. That, of course, is a little bit of a delicate balance sometimes, but when your focus is on the Lord, it's really going to guide the truth that you're speaking to. And then Philippians 2 has been quoted quite a few times already, but do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, or some translations say vainglory, but when you're seeking God and encouraging them also to put the focus on God. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of times there's not a lot you can do, but like you said, pray, because it's like sometimes they may not want to hear it or listen to, but it's like, well, God can get a hold of their heart if it's not a good man for them. So that's very good. So the second question is, what are some ways to be content when you are left behind by your friends moving on to marriage?
I've struggled more so with trying to kind of build myself up and keep myself feeling as important as I feel like they are now that they're married. And I didn't realize it right away, but eventually God kind of got to me and said, you're trying to, this is kind of an ego thing, and it's not, you're not seeking my glory out of this. But resting in providence, God's perfect will in His perfect time. And really taking that to heart, that even though I don't feel like I'm maybe being as included as I feel like I should, and I think what Serena said about taking initiative about things too, and if you feel like you're being left out, they probably don't realize that, and they probably don't intend for that to be like that. And so for you to either let them know how you feel in a kind, loving way, but they probably don't intend that, and so don't take things personally. But again, seeking God, thanking Him for all things and in all things. I had someone tell me one time that the Bible says to thank God in all things. It doesn't tell you to thank God for everything. I gotta look that up because I'm pretty sure He does, and sure enough, He does, over and over and over. So thanking God for that season of life, and what is He going to teach you through that? So again, keeping a positive attitude. What is God wanting for me in all of this? Also, your heart goes where you put your time and your money and your thoughts and the things that you are focused on. So just learning to be content. What is your aim? If your aim is just marriage, that's like day number 1. There's a whole lifetime after that. And, it's been such a blessing for me too. I'm the oldest of 6 children. I have 2 siblings that are married, and the ways of ministering to their families and being able to babysit, and yeah, it's an incredible blessing. But again, viewing that, choosing to look at it positively. Contentment is continual. Once you grow to contentment in one area, quite often God reveals something else to you. Or because you have reached perhaps some kind of relationship or something, you then start to be discontent in other areas. And I have a couple of friends that have struggled with infertility to one degree or another. One of my friends is just 1 year into her marriage, and she's like, I really thought I'd be pregnant by now. One friend, it's been like 10 years. And she's had to deal with that. So just because, what's your goal? And so if your goal is God, it really changes your perspective.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. So the next one is, what tips do you have on helping your friend after or during a breakup?
I haven't had to go through this a lot, fortunately. But I have had friends go through divorces. And one of my friends, I was not close with her at that time. She was living away, and I didn't realize how bad things were and what was going on. But again, praying. And to whatever degree she will allow you to help her through that breakup, praying, and God works where we can't. Also, never say, I told you so. Never. Don't even think it, because your thoughts influence what you actually do say. So, yes. And Psalm 193 verse 4 says that God knows our thoughts even before we speak them. So keeping our thoughts focused on the Lord and keeping our focus on them. Help your friend to see Jesus through this, and leading her to Him, seeking His glory together. That this relationship is not an end-all for her. Sometimes, well, I'm sure all of us have had friends that have gone through a breakup, and then at some point later on they get back together. And their relationship is stronger after that because of the trial that they went through. And if they, so God loves to redeem, and whatever hard situation they're going through, whatever that breakup is based on, the relationship wasn't based on God in the beginning, it's not going to go well. But God loves to redeem. He loves to forgive. He loves to take what has been broken and make it new. And refine those for ashes, as Elizabeth Elliot says. That's great. All right, so the last question is, marriage, I guess this is kind of a statement, not a question. So marriage is a great blessing, but God gives us a season of singleness for a reason. Can you share some blessings of being single and where God has you right now? I've gone through stages of becoming content with my singleness. I'm sure we all have. And right now, I love my life. It doesn't mean I don't always go, oh, hey, what do you think that is? Or that type of thing. But again, just seeking the Lord and doing the right Lord. But it's been interesting how God has prepared me over probably 20 years or so that I can look back on specifically. But I love service. I love caring for people. I love children. I am drawn to people who have no friends. A lot of my friends have no other friends. It's kind of interesting. But I also have some friends with disabilities to one degree or another. Miranda and Courtney both have cerebral palsy, and they are in group homes right now and kind of locked down because of quarantine. So my ministry to them has been different and more limited. But because of some ways that I've been able to help Miranda in particular, actually physically, and it just kind of like happened. She's like, I really need to go to the bathroom, and staff isn't going to be here for another hour and a half.
Wow,
Well, if you tell me what to do, I can help you. So God took me out of my comfort zone, and there have just been little things that have progressed through that. I have a dear sweet friend that has dementia now, and it's weird being on this end of life, and the people that were adults and leaders when I was in, in adult classes and Bible studies, and they went on a missions trip with us, and now she has dementia, and I just went through a year of once a week going to their house and helping her with the bath.
Right.
Because her husband, she would not let him do certain things, and it just was better for their relationship if he didn't do certain things. So for a while, one of my friends did it, and then she moved to Colorado and said, Anna, would you be willing to help Mari with her bath? And I'm like, well, I don't know. But it wasn't as scary as I thought it was, but helping my other friends with some physical needs really prepared me for that, and I never saw that coming.
Right.
I also now, Mari actually just 2 weeks ago was placed into a facility where she's be able to go see her, but more of a, I'll take her to lunch and that type of thing. So I don't need to care for her anymore, but because of all that I did for her over the last year and gaining some confidence, I have a friend, Carla, who is actually just this past week said she has now been diagnosed as a quadriplegic. She has beyond Murray syndrome, if anybody knows what that is. It's horrible. Some people have it to different degrees. She has it severely. It has totally wiped out her immune system and her nerves, and it's very, very trying. She just wants to die. I don't think she's saved. And, so I just, I might start helping her mom with some things now, and so that's kind of like the newest out of my box experience of my comfort zone. And again, through all of this, there's been a good focus on pursuing God and seeking His glory, and I'm just seeking the Lord in all of this, and also where are the limitations? We're just going to draw lines, and so it's just a continual process, but it's exciting when you see God using challenges and things and struggle. So
it's beautiful. I love how you just serve and bless the people around you no matter what stage of life you're in, and it's neat that God's given you those opportunities in this single season to do that. So that's really neat. Thank you so much for sharing.
I also wanted to mention this is a fantastic book. None Like Him, 10 Ways God is Different from Us and Why That's a Good Thing. And as far as keeping your eyes on God, there's nothing more scary than thinking that God is out there and He doesn't like you. And so learning about God and learning about His character is a huge assurance through whatever trial you're going through. And this book has been wonderful. It's by Jen Wilkin. So highly recommend.
Thank you. All right.